लेकिन कुछ यूजर्स तुमको पहले ही लाइन पे गाली देके फोन रख देंगे. Good designers think, learn how good designers present. Like hit me and I was like, bro, that's something I will not leave now. I'll keep creating.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Design Hand podcast and thanks a lot for your support till now. And today we have a wonderful guest, that's why. I still don't know the number of the podcast that I'm doing. I think it's around 47th or 48th. But we have been doing amazing. It's all because of your love. And today we have Rajan with us. He is from JAR and he has tremendous amount of experience. We're going to get deep dive into his journey and how he has become what he is today. So let me just get Rajan on the stage and then we can start. Hey Rajan, how have you been?
Hey man, all good. What about you?
I am doing crazy. Let's just start the podcast with a little bit of your introduction and then we can kind of go ahead.
Sure. So, hey Abhay, first of all, and everybody who is watching this. I'm Rajan and I have been working in design for the past 6 years now. Throughout my design career, mostly I've been working with apps who are targeting an Indian audience. So I have a good catch over there. And luckily, like, I don't know how, but all the products that I worked with always had the tier 2 and tier 3 audience base. And I was like, wow, amazing, cool. Initially, it was not a big thing, but nowadays it's called the next billion audience or something. So I feel lucky enough to start in that zone from very early. Other than design, I also kind of mentor people, and I have guided people to get their jobs in really good companies like Dunzo and all. And there are some of my mentees who are working at CoinDCX and companies like that, basically. And other than that, on LinkedIn, I try some personal branding kind of stuff that works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I get into banters and stuff. Yeah, that's how it's going in design side. But
Amazing.
other than that, as Abhay knows, I am also an actor. I do a little bit of acting in my own company's videos and sometimes on my own Instagram handle.
Sounds amazing. And I think this really I think makes who Rajan is. That's what I was even thinking that when if I introduce you, what should I say? And like you, I think made it. Obviously, you know yourself. You made it correct and on point. Let's just start it. So I think your journey has been amazing. Let's just start with how and why design. Like how did you figure out that design is something that you want to pick up in your life and you want it to be something that you want to take forward?
So, frankly, the thing is that I never knew that something like design exists, first of all. I did not know that there are design schools. I did not know there are design courses. I was always of a mindset that, yeah, bro, I'll be a software developer one day, मैं करोड़पति बन जाऊंगा, ये वो ऐसा वैसा. But so there was a time in my life, I think it was 2016 and 2017, where I was eagerly looking for a job because I just shut down my photography business. And I was looking for a job, and uh, like I was not able to find anything. But I was always an artist because like bachpan se hi, I have always I've been doing paintings and sketches and stuff. I used to do a lot of pen sketches and stuff. So I always had that in me, like the creative side of me. But obviously, I did not know because there was no enough exposure of design industry, and I was literally not too techie that time. So later on, when I figured out that design, there is a thing called graphic design. You can get a job in graphic design. As like, okay, let's apply for an internship. There's a very interesting story behind the how I got my first internship. I'll tell you later in this podcast. But yeah, I got my first design internship, and that was obviously to design Facebook ads. Because I was a photographer and I was good in photo manipulation and stuff. So I used the same skills and I created those graphics and I got selected for the internship. And then I realized that, oh, I think this was the thing that I was looking for. That's why I did not land up to any profession before design. Once I started that, that was the time when that aha moment happened with me. That bro, this is something that I will be doing very great. Like I can do this. This is something which I can do without any efforts. and that's how design thing came in me, and I started designing, and rest is history.
Crazy. And I think I just want to get a little before you kind of get into design. Like, how was your journey with your education like, and how that for sure like these things, creatively definitely makes you a better designer. All the skills that you have had, being actor, being photography, and other things. So, how
Yeah.
have been your life before choosing design? Be like,
So actually, a lot of things. So I started earning very early. Okay, like I started earning right from when I was 16. Like I was that small. Right when I ended my 10th standard, it was 2014. Uh, right then, I started earning for myself, and I started paying my college college fees and stuff. Any other thing like gym and other things. I started taking up my own expenses. So the very first thing that I started earning with was photography. I used to rent. I used to rent my friends' cameras and mobile phones and stuff. iPhone 5s was the latest that time, by the way. So I used to rent it from them, and I used to click photos, and I used to edit, and I used to. So I had a computer already, so I just used it, editing those photos and giving it to my friends, and then eventually that photography thing became a little big, like very huge. I got my cameras and stuff. I was still in 11th and 12th standard. I was doing my photography business very nicely. And yeah, like there's always a saturation point in every business, and my saturation point was when I completed my 12th standard, and exactly then photography became so popular on Facebook. Like there used to be Facebook like competitions and stuff. If you know, I don't know if you know, but on Facebook there used to be like competitions and stuff. There used to be like, hey, we'll be posting something at 9 a.m. Me and X person will be posting at 9 a.m. Whoever gets the most like is the winner in the first 1 minute. Whoever gets the most. So these kind of competitions. So what people did was they got their own cameras because camera became cheap that time. And because of that one particular thing, because everybody had a camera, my business became like uh, almost shut down. So I had to sell my cameras and stuff. But yeah, uh, after that. Instantly I was not able to figure out something, so I did a little bit of network marketing, the MLM thing, where you join and then be like, आप ज्वाइन करो, आपके नीचे तीन ज्वाइन करो, so that thing, आपके घर के सामने BMW खड़ी हो जाएगी. So yeah, I tried that as well with multiple
BMW आई
brands.
थी.
No, that's why I chose design again. So obviously BMW नहीं आई क्योंकि that's more like बड़ी बड़ी बातें बड़ा पाव खाते वाला business, frankly, according to me. So हाँ, वो सब जब हो गया, then obviously just like I told you before that I had that graphic design thing, so I got an internship in design, and I got in design. Study wise, so all this was happening when I was in my first year. The network marketing thing was happening when I was in my first year. Towards the end of my first year, I figured out that college वाले कुछ नहीं सिखा रहे हैं, because like when I completed my 10th, and before taking admission in 11th, the gap of 6-7 months, I took a software development course where I learned Java and Python both. So 11th, 12th, maybe I just polished that knowledge. And again, after 12th, I got a huge frame of studying it again. Then I polished my Python skills. And after that, when I went to college, they were like C++, this and that they are teaching. And then they are like right from ground up, they are teaching. And I was like, I don't think this is going to help me in any way. I ended my first year, obviously, because I was knowing I topped the college. And then second year ke starting, I did not pay my fees and I dropped out. And right from then I'm designing and designing and designing.
And you are at a place that everybody looks up to be at. So
Yeah.
I think that that's an amazing journey because people, uh, like first you decided that to drop out. I feel that's a very bold move to take because for sure like family pressure तो होता है कि कर
Like,
ले क्या करेगा
I
ये
was
सब.
lucky in this. I was lucky in this because my mom is always on my side. तो पापा को थोड़ा मनाने में प्रॉब्लम हुई थी, वो मम्मी ने संभाल लिया था. But हाँ, I told my mom that मम्मी ऐसा है कि like I don't think college is helpful. I promise, give me a year, I'll prove it to you. And I was lucky enough to prove that. And my mom was always standing in front of me, between me and my father. So my mom was someone who was handling his this thing. She handled it for a year, and then my father was like, "अच्छा किया college छोड़ के."
And I think for you एक चीज अच्छी थी कि that you were earning from a early age. So मतलब वो पेरेंट्स को
Yeah.
वो प्रूव हो गया था कि पैसा कमाना तो कमा ले. So
Yes. Exactly.
so I think that also helped.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how did you now got your first gig that you told कि you want to tell the story about how you got your first internship?
Yeah. So there was that time there was an app called Frapp. FRAPP. It doesn't exist anymore. It recently they pivoted their business model to something else. So there was this app called Frapp, and when my photography shut and I quit network marketing, I was looking out and I came up to this app as I was in college. कॉलेज के आसपास उनके बैनर्स लगे होते हैं, उनके वॉलंटियर्स होते हैं who give their business cards and stuff. So I found this random name and I downloaded it and I saw a lot of internships students के लिए. And one of them was by a brand called Vishpi. That was my first thing. By a brand called Vishpi. They wanted someone to design their social media graphics and Facebook ads and stuff. So I applied there. And there's the whole selection process was a 7 day process. And me being a pro procrastinator, I did not complete the assignment in the whole first 6 days. I got an assignment of 4 problem statements, जिसमें से चारों all 4 चारों statements पे मुझे graphics बनाने थे for Facebook ads and social media, which works for both ads and social media as well. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll try. I'll give it a try. I'll do it. And there were like 10, 12 people. A group was created on WhatsApp of all those 12 people, from which I was the one, and one was the moderator himself. So 11 participants. The group was created. The task was given, and a final timeline was given that, hey guys, this is the day. On the 7th day at 7 p.m., you will have to give the final assignment. I was like, cool. For 6 days, procrastinator, doing nothing, doing random things, not even, I literally forgot it about that. I have applied for something and I need to give the assignment. On 7th day in the evening at 6:45, I got a call. Hey, everybody have submitted their assignment. We did not receive your assignment yet. 7 o'clock is the deadline. Can you please share it ASAP? I was like, sure. It's almost done. I'll share it in a minute. I was riding my scooty. I went home. I remember it was 6:45. I went home. I turned on my computer. I did. I did. I created 4 graphics. I sent it to them. Next day, the results came that Rajan is selected. I was like, whoa.
Interesting.
And the reason I was selected was because the designs were minimal. If you and seriously, if you want to design something that is very simple, you need to stop thinking. And I had no time to think. At 15 minutes, I created 4 graphics I sent, and obviously it was simple because I did not think anything. I gave it, I got selected. But yeah, not a right way of doing things, but I got selected, and after that, I did a lot of right things.
But that's an interesting story, right? And you're like, yeah, नहीं करना. Last में like, oh, जल्दी करके दे दो. But
Yeah,
that's
like,
lucky for
you
you.
know, the people, like, till date, I work with the same people. Like, some or the other way, they are connected with me. Not in the same company, but they are connected with me. Until day, whenever we sit together, we laugh at that scene, what happened that time. Everybody knows the story in that company.
Super interesting, yeah. Because, but we should not suggest it to anyone. They should like submit the assignment on time. But but but
Obviously.
but but that's interesting. And I think at the time, I don't know. I just feel कि when you procrastinate and at the end जब वो अगर I don't know if people have heard about this monkey story. So it's like there is a procrastination monkey in your mind. Until unless you are like whenever the deadline comes, that procrastination monkey doesn't takes the wheel. Like it is having the wheel and it makes you roam around all over the place. But as soon
Hmm.
as a procrastination bear or something comes, he leaves the steering wheel and then you have to take charge and do things. So
Yeah.
it's all about when the deadline comes. Like कहाँ है assignment? नहीं बस एक minute एक minute. So like then you took
I
it.
was like, no. I did not say 1 minute. I said it's almost ready. I'm sending it right away.
Super
That
interesting.
was
Super
fun. That was fun. And
Amazing.
the stipend for the gig was 5,000 rupees for 3 months, and I was very happy for that.
It's the first thing ना, so people से फिर पापा बोल रहे हैं अच्छा चलो कुछ तो मिला, start हुआ चलो.
Exactly. ताजा ताजा
चलो.
कॉलेज छोड़ा था ना.
Exactly. But interesting, yeah. So, like, I know that you have worked at a lot of small startups, like Vishwi, Marsplay, Vocal, and other softs. So,
Yeah.
how's working there like? Because I think you worked like at these startups for a long time, different startups in different I think capacity. But so how's like that small early startup life like?
Uh, I would say I would use one line to define that. It's like make fast, break fast. Wherever I have worked till now, it has always been a 0 to 1 startup, like from scratch, always. And the one beautiful thing there is you don't have any limitations. Experiment whatever you want to experiment because you have nothing to lose, right? So at Vishwi also it was the same way. Vishwi was kind of, if you know Ku, do you know Ku? Yeah, so Vishwi was something similar. Vishwi got acquired by Vocal and then Vocal rebranded to Ku. Yeah. So yeah, it's like that. So Vishwi was something like that, Indian Twitter, but a video format. Then at Mars Play again, social commerce came in, where I got to interact with a lot of millennials who were kind of the pre-influencer era, where there were only kapde pehenne wale influencers. Abhi there are a lot different influencers. So in mass play, I got that experience, and then after that, I started working with Khabri, and side by side, I was also working with a umbrella company called Randomly, where we created random apps at Randomly. It was a company which basically the whole model was that we'll create a lot of utility apps, and that's how the business will run. So in that randomly company, I was the only designer, and that's how I basically worked on like 2023 different utility apps, which included messaging, QR scanners, PDF readers, XYZ, like multiple video conferencing and stuff. There were a lot of utility apps. So at randomly, I got these kind of experience. But yeah, overall, just because there's a lot of things to work on, you do a lot of context switching, and I have been lucky enough to have that control over my context switching. Like if in these 2 hours I am working on a certain thing which is completely, let's say for example, is health tech. In the next hour I can work on fintech and still give you great results because I know how to control it, right? Because it's like if you do parallel working, it's harmful, but you do if you do it sequential serially, then it's not a problem for you. And I mastered the way of working serially, and that's how I was able to do multiple context switching, and that's how it helped me randomly because there were a lot of different category apps, right? Picking up the same knowledge, I worked in future companies. I worked at Unlu. Unlu was again like a celebrity learning platform where celebrities come and teach you things. Like Manoj Bajpayee will come and teach you acting, Johnny Lever will come and teach you comedy. So we had all of them on board. We had Manoj Bajpayee, Johnny Lever as well. So everything that I learned, that make fast, break fast, then the context switching thing, then this and that, everything I merged, I used it in Undu, and I was able to crack it like single-handedly. I worked there for 1.5 years as the only designer, and I was shipping things really fast because there were less approval loops. First of all, second, that I was taking the decisions, and I had that authority to take decisions. Plus, like being the only designer is one privilege because you know that you can take feedback from your peers, but there's no one who will come and say that no, this design is not good, right? But then too, you take feedbacks from your PM or anything, and I did that. And that's how it helped, man. Like, and I think during these years was something that I figured that I can do a lot of stuff. Like I can do context switching, which people literally struggle doing, right? And then I understood how Indian audience interact with your apps. I understood how to make fast, break fast. I understood why startups have to run very fast in their initial days, which आजकल के लोगों को समझ नहीं आता.
Agree.
Like work life balance बोल के they're like, no, it's a startup. Okay, cool. It's your startup. My work life balance is important. But bro, if you're working at a startup, work like you're working at a startup. A startup is always a hustle mode kind of thing. If you are if you're okay with doing that, only then join a startup or go do a steady job in a corporate one.
Makes
As
sense.
simple
That
as that.
makes sense. And I think these small experiences, जो है, मतलब, because like would have made you learn a lot of things, like not just not just context switching. I think how to figure out how to solve a problem, how to figure out how to talk to users, how to get the right target audience, how to like a lot of things. Because I think वही main learning phase होगा to
Right.
be at better places.
Yeah, right. And just because there were multiple categories to tackle,
Exactly.
I was able
Yeah.
to explore everything, right? And I basically knew that okay, if someone is using a fintech, how can he be engaged in social activities as well? Because I worked on social apps also, I worked on fintech apps also. So I know how to merge them both, right? And that's how it helps, man. Like, you know, it's more like decision making skills. If you have that, you're sorted. And if decision makes itself, okay. If you have enough data, decision will make itself. If you don't have data, you'll never be able to make decisions.
And I think this is something that I have recently realized. As you get more experience, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि you learn more from experiences rather than anything else. It's just my
Yeah,
understanding. I feel वो experiences जो intuition और decision making बहुत strong हो जाती है, and that no one can beat. Like when you have worked on so many industrial apps, so many industries, context building, problem solving with so many people, like वो decision making जो आती है वो it's very rare to find on other people who have don't have so much of
right,
experience. Yeah,
right. Like
that really happens.
that's what is the difference with experienced people, right? Like
Yeah,
an experienced person will come and say that, bro, this is good, this is bad, and a non-experienced person will object that. See, sometimes it can be right, but sometimes he can be wrong because that experienced person's intuition is being backed by the data he tackled within the last previous years, right? That
yeah.
freshers sometimes don't understand.
Yeah, I agree. And again, वो data से intuition बन जाती है. Then you don't even have to think कि हाँ ये user क्या करेगा. You already know that I've seen this pattern
Exactly.
for the last seven things, and I know this
Yes.
is going to happen. So let's do this. And then
Exactly.
experience like prevails over anything that anything can provide. So
Exactly.
that that's one thing. That's crazy. So I know that after a lot of these experiences, you joined, I think, Calm Sleep, and I think you stayed there for a long time. After that, you, I think, joined Jal. So like how did when you decided कि मतलब Calm Sleep you want to stay for the longest time, and how did Calm Sleep take into place?
So calm sleep was always a parallel thing for all of us who were working in the company. So we were 4 to 5 people who did the whole thing. And it was always a part-time thing. Like I was working in Unlu, the product manager was also working in Unlu. The developer that we had was a 10th pass out. The head of tech that we had was already working in a company, and the strategist that we had was Ankur Wariku. So yeah, we 5 people, and then it was always a part-time thing, and we used to spend like 2 3 hours a day, and everybody had that enthu, and nobody was getting paid. It was all to just crack a big thing one day. So calm sleep always happened in parallel way, as I said, and it was also a new thing for me because calm sleep was the first time I got into health tech. It was all about health and sleep and stuff. So that time we did a lot of research about health, about sleep, about why people sleep, how people sleep, this and that, and how apps work in health sector. What do you need to crack that thing in health sector? Then we hired interns. basically it was very fun because nobody was getting paid. Everybody was doing it by for themselves by themselves, and they already had a job that they were doing 9 to 5, where obviously sometimes there was always a creative blockage. So after that 9 to 5, you complete that, and then you come to calm sleep, and then do creative things. It was kind of helpful in a mental way also, that bro, okay, I need a break from that thing. That's why I'll do calm sleep now. So everybody did the same thing, and yeah, we were able to crack it. Right now it's acquired, but yeah, we ran it for like 2.5 years, and it worked really well. It was, why did I stay there for long was just because we were doing it for we were not doing it for money. We were just doing it to have fun and maybe help people while having fun. That's all.
Crazy. And I think that's what that's what my belief is. Ki when you do things for yourself, or like with the intention of solving, specifically solving a problem, right? I think that's when the problem is solved the most. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
I
calm
just
sleep
feel.
was that for us, like all of us. Nobody earned a penny from that, like for 2 years. And nobody ever complained about it. We used to do sprints, we used to do hackathons. We are doing hackathons on weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, day and night. We are up, we are not sleeping, we are redesigning, we are coding everything from scratch, doing this and that. Nobody complained about it. Having fun.
I think that was the hustle years that you wanna
Yeah,
like you wanted to kind of experience this field as well. And again,
yeah,
being and यार वही होता है कि like it's all about an experience. You will like कि health tech explore नहीं करा, let's explore that. Then
yeah,
like अच्छा अच्छे अच्छे लोगों के साथ काम करना ही मिल रहा है, sure let's do that. Then again that you said like creative blockage, it's also helpful. So again it's all about the opportunities that you get and uh, how much hustle do you want to do. People मतलब मुझे लगता है आजकल फ्रेशर्स को लगता है कि अच्छा एक जॉब मिल गई, अब बस चलो हो गया, अब और नहीं करना. Like
right, exactly,
if you get up like you should be like hustling, man. This is your time to hustle. It's not like you got a job and हो गया भाई और भी चीजें learn करनी है. You have to like it's not a one industry that you would wanna cater to. You don't wanna be that
exactly,
kind of designer.
exactly. That's what. Like I see people coming to me and saying, "Ki, I just completed my college. I just did my and no internships. Okay, zero internships. I just completed my college. Can you refer me to a job where I can get at least 60, 70,000?" The bro,
5,000 3
bro,
महीना ले.
5,000 3 months, bro.
बोलते
60,
नहीं आ
70,000. It seems right out of college. Huh?
that person. I know. I think I have the same thing. So this is one thing, and I think one big major problem that I've seen with people nowadays is that they are working in a service-based company. Okay,
Yeah,
uh, sure they would be a good designer, no doubt about it. But then the ego comes कि हाँ
yeah,
यार मैं सर्विस बेस्ड में काम कर रहा हूँ अच्छा पैसा कमा रहा हूँ I am working in so many like I know sure you are doing that but what are you hustling about like well like it's sure you're doing like where's your second like what's your hustle what problems are you solving like people be like नहीं नहीं मैं तो settled हूँ and it's like okay sure dude. But like it's about that hustle that people need to hustle to understand that there is much more to learn and design and
yeah,
you, sh-
exactly.
you should rather be a better problem solver and product thinker rather than just be like कि हाँ मुझे आता है चार screens बनाना
That's
so
what. Like
that's important.
4 screen कोई भी बना देगा. क्यों बनाया है वो बताने में फट जाती है लोगों की.
Exactly, exactly. Amazing. Yeah. So after I think Calm Sleep, then you I think joined Jar just after that. So and you have been there for around more than 2 years now. Then
Yeah.
why first? Why did you decided to join Jar after so much experience? And second, how Jar happened? And thirdly, because I know Jar is solving a very amazing problem. I think this is a problem that जब हम बचपन में होते हैं हम तब भी सोच रहे थे कि this is something that we do. Generally, it's a habit that you do, like parents' habit बिठा देते हैं like
Yes.
that crazy problem that you guys are solving. So this is you dive into it and tell us about that.
So I'll tell you why jar right now. See, it's a very interesting problem, as you said. The thing that struck me for jar was that we are trying to give people financial literacy, right? And not everyone. Our major target was T2 and T3, tier 2 and tier 3 audience. who have a lot of beliefs that यार इन्वेस्टमेंट करने के लिए बड़ा अमाउंट चाहिए, यहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट रिस्की हो सकता है, वहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट रिस्की हो सकता है, इंश्योरेंस क्या है वो है, like they have a lot of question, and that's the biggest user base right now in India, and they lack financial literacy. And jar just started with a mission of solving that. First problem statement was solving financial literacy in India. How do we solve that? Step one, make them invest. And how do we do that? By convincing, not even convincing them, by just telling them that you can start investing in gold. And gold is the most trusted asset. Obviously, they will trust. Once you get into that investment zone, once we loop you in that all investment zone, we start teaching you how you can how is this beneficial, why digital gold, this and that and that and that. And that's when you start taking the stepping stones towards financial literacy, right? And that's when we introduce you to more different things, like let's say for example saving once a month, saving daily, or let's say for example insurance, let's say for example buy now pay later, this and that. So all these things, see, there are a lot of brands who are doing it for that audience but not doing in their manner. They are doing it in how they want it to do. We are doing it in a way how users want to use it, right? And that's why we conduct a lot of user research. We try to understand them. We call them in office. We talk to them. We have focus groups with users. We continuously try to figure out why they are not saving, and if they are saving, then why they are saving, just to tell other people that okay, this is the reason, that is the reason. And when initially when the product was created, in 2 3 months, I myself did not realize that I have enabled a feature. There's a feature called auto pay in Jar app. Okay, so I did not realize that I have enabled that feature, and money was continuously debiting. And every day morning, I used to get notification that bro, your money has been debited, invested in Jar. Continuously happening. 4 5 months passed, and then randomly one day I needed money. Okay, I wanted to pay my credit card bills, and I was thinking where to get it, where to get it, where to get it, where to get it. I randomly opened Jar app for testing something, and I saw that I already have 45,000 rupees in my Jar locker. And I was amazed, and I saw how many months is this, and that was just 3 4 months. In 3 4 months, automatically from my bank account, everything was there in place. I I immediately withdrew that money, and I paid my credit card bills, and that's how it helped. So people kept asking that, see, you put your money in jar, gold का पैसा increase होने में बहुत time लगता है, right? Like साल 2 साल लग जाते हैं. But the point was not gold का point was not तुम्हारे पैसे increase होना. Point was तुम पैसे collect कर रहे हो. राइट. द इनिशियल थिंग इज दैट पिगी बैंक में तुम्हारे पैसे इंक्रीज नहीं होते, बस कलेक्ट हो रहे होते हैं और किसी इंपॉर्टेंट टाइम पे तुमको मिल जाते हैं. एंड दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंड विद मी, एंड दैट्स व्हाट लाइक हिट मी, एंड आई वाज लाइक ब्रो, दैट्स समथिंग I will not leave now. I'll keep creating. And after that, it was always fun. It's always fun. Like every day we get to know something new about your user, and every day we we feel that okay, now we know a lot about our user. We'll create something, but right the next day, something something new comes up, and then we are like, oh shit, ये तो हमने सोचा ही नहीं था. And then we again solve for that. And every day is a new challenge, so it's very fun. Like the reason, because first of all, the audience, they are like, उनको बच्चों की तरह समझाना पड़ता है, because they are not too techy, they are not too financially literate. Like उनको lock in period जो word होता है वो भी समझाना पड़ता है उनको. There were literally audiences जिनको withdrawal जो word था, debit, ऐसे scheduled, ऐसे ऐसे बहुत सारे words हैं जो उनको समझ नहीं आते. So we try to figure out कि how do we simplify this one single word also. And so like till that depth we try to solve the problem, and that's why it's fun, and
Crazy.
it never gets stagnant.
For sure, for sure. And I think when you're designing for this T2 and T3 like audience, मतलब उनकी problems बहुत unique होती
Unique.
है.
Exactly.
So and I agree. So the reason I'm saying is कि so I did one freelance project for like very long back, and I remember we were trying to solve a problem for a T3 audience, very low
Yeah.
tier audience. Like we were trying to solve like कि जो हमारे घर में काम वाली बाई आती है, how we can make them get more earning opportunities with small
Hmm.
projects that people only do. Like somebody needs someone for some small task, like how we can get them there, right? And their problems were too amazing. Like इतनी crazy problems मैंने आज तक देखी भी नहीं थी, and I was like, yeah, like how मतलब it's just too crazy because we people don't really think about it, but उनकी problems अलग ही होती है. Like it's just that saying कि you can't be in someone else's shoe just by thinking that you are in their shoes. Like their
Yeah.
problems are their problems, your problems are your problems. You can't
Very
like
true.
you can't tell them कि उनके shoes में जाके if I will be in your shoes, I will do this. You can't.
Right.
They're thinking their problems, their situation is too different than yours.
Right.
But that's amazing. So, मतलब again, as I said, कि jar is crazy, the problems are crazy, and what you guys are solving. मुझे because you said that you guys do a lot of user research and everything. Any tips, something that you would have in mind that people while doing user research should think about, or what they should keep in mind?
I would say get into the comfort zone first. Like फोन करते करते सीधा मत पूछने लगो कि सर हम जार से बात कर रहे हैं, आपके लॉकर में कितने पैसे हैं. No, don't do that. Get into the comfort zone first. Like try to understand. Your first intention should be trying to understand their pain points. And तुमको अगर पेन पॉइंट समझना है तो वो आदमी तब तक नहीं खुलेगा जब तक उसको कंफर्टेबल नहीं लगेगा तुम्हारे साथ. सो यू नीड टू हैव दैट. लाइक बैंक वाले तुमको कॉल करके नहीं बोलते सर आपका येस बैंक का क्रेडिट कार्ड फाइनल हो गया, क्या मैं आपका नाम लिख दूं? नॉट लाइक दैट. फर्स्ट try to know the person first कि okay, see, because you are calling them, you already know them, right? You already know them. अब नाम पूछोगे ये वो करोगे तो आदमी डर जाता है. आराम से थोड़ा हौले हौले चीजें आगे बढ़ानी चाहिए. So first of all, the very first thing, get a little on a comfort zone. And उसके भी ना questions होते हैं. ऐसे नहीं कि तुम नाम और एज पूछने लगो, वो थोड़ा creepy हो जाता है. Not that. By comfort zone I mean ask them easy questions like why did you install. I am taking jar का example. When did you install jar? Who referred you jar? And what is your current experience with jar? जब ये तीन क्वेश्चन हो जाएंगे ना, then they will be more comfortable to answer your complex questions. So start build your script in such a way कि initially comfortable और easy questions हो, जो yes no भी answer हो तो चलेगा, no problem. But have in that way. Second way, अगर so this is call specific. If you are doing in-person interviews of users, I would suggest there's a method where you basically create buckets of reasons and let the person pick certain chits and put it in the bucket. Okay, that way you make the user comfortable and he is not even shy to answer. क्योंकि जब तुम उनसे पूछना चालू करते हो ना, और कैमरास दो तरफ से कैमरास रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं उनको, एंड तुम्हारे क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, दे गेट अ लिटिल, बिकॉज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कैमरा फियर बहुत लोगों को होता है. सेकंड चीज, अगर तुमने कैमरा बंद भी कर दिया, अगर तुमने कैमरा हटा भी दिया, बट तुम अगर डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो ना, तो उनको लगेगा कि यार कहीं गलत बोल दूं तो गुस्सा ना हो जाए सामने वाला, कहीं गलत तो नहीं बोल रहा, ऐसा वैसा. So it's better you don't ask them questions. First of all, ask them question in different ways. Create four buckets. जो भी तुमको answer चाहिए, create four buckets. Give them certain chits of all the emotion that a user can ever feel. Ask them to pick that emotion and put it in the bucket. That way you will get your user response, and you will get it from genuine users, and you will also know what your user is thinking without even asking your user what he is thinking. Right? So ऐसी कुछ चीजें हैं. लाइक देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ यूजर रिसर्च मेथड्स, क्वांटिटेटिव क्वालिटेटिव. ये तो पढ़ा थियोरेटिकल में तो मत ही जाओ, मैं तो कहूंगा जस्ट ट्राई टू बिल्ड दैट कंफर्ट फर्स्ट एंड देन पिक इट अप. कुछ कुछ यूजर्स अच्छे हैं, डेढ़ डेढ़ दो दो घंटा बात भी कर लेंगे अगर तुम उनके साथ कंफर्ट जोन में चल जाओ. लेकिन कुछ यूजर्स तुमको पहले ही लाइन पे गाली देके फोन रख देंगे, और वो तब होगा जब तुम उनके पैसों के बारे में पूछोगे. सिंपल.
And especially with fintech, like ये चीज होती है, and people are, especially T2, T3 people, they are very sensitive about their money and everything, and they have
सेंसिटिव एंड क्या होता है ना उनको, दे आर, वो लोग व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी से ग्रेजुएट हुए हैं, ठीक है. सो दे आर मोर इनटू, they know a lot of things that are not happening but are happening according to them, like scams. जैसे 10 रुपए का सिक्का बंद हो गया, जैसे जैसे मिस कॉल करके तुम्हारे बैंक से पैसे कट हो जाते हैं, ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. बट दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स इन देयर माइंड. एंड व्हेन यू आर कॉलिंग देम, देयर फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन विल बी कि पक्का बैंक से पैसे उड़ाने वाला है मेरे. फर्स्ट यू नीड टू मेक देम बिलीव दैट देखो भैया, हम आपके बैंक से पैसे नहीं उड़ाने वाले हैं, हम आपसे ये पूछने वाले हैं. तो एंड दैट विल हैपन ओनली व्हेन यू आस्क इजी एंड कंफर्टेबल क्वेश्चंस.
सुपर क्रेजी यार, बिकॉज आई फील ये प्रॉब्लम फिनटेक में ज्यादा होती होगी एज कम्पेयर टू एनीथिंग एल्स. आई एम 100%
Exactly.
sure of that. I'm 100% sure about it. Even when we do our user calls in work school, because it's education, like it's not. What will I say? Like, हाँ मुझे अपने सारे courses दे दो. Like people like ले भाई क्या करेगा? So it's like fintech में, but I think there's a much problem. And I think fintech guys solve it much better because they have to make their audience comfortable, and especially jar because their audience are T2 and T3. ठीक है? So मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये था कि क्या लैंग्वेज बैरियर्स भी होते हैं तुम्हारे साथ?
Yes, obviously. I'll tell you an instance where one of our users. So this was like I think 6-7 months ago. One of our users by mistakenly turned on his autosave. Okay, and उसके अकाउंट से रोज 20-20 रुपए कट रहे थे. एंड ही डिड नॉट रियलाइज कि उसका ऑटोसेव ऑन है. तो 20 रुपए कट रहे थे एंड ही वॉज नॉट एबल टू फिगर आउट कि वो जार में ही जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि वो जार ऐप खोल ही नहीं रहा था. तो एंड he did not know English, he did not know Hindi, he did not know any language, he only knew Kannada. From somewhere he found jar office ka address. He came to jar office with one of his friends who knows to speak in English. And I am sitting, one of my colleagues is sitting, and both of them are sitting in front of me. And this Kannada guy is telling his friend his problem, and that friend is explaining it in English to us. Then we are telling the solution to this English guy, and then he is telling it to him in Kannada. This was happening in the office, and once we basically explained him how it's working and how it's helpful, uh, and we basically opened jar app in his phone, and we were pointing at, see, this is where your money is going, it's still here, it's gone nowhere. He believed in us and he increased his daily saving amount just by understanding. And obviously language, right? Because his friend was telling him in his language that he's comfortable with. He understood it better. So we explained it in a good fashion. He translated it in a good fashion, and that user, we basically retained that user. The user came there to withdraw his money. We retained that user, and that user stayed on that. And that's when we realized, see, we have these kind of users, and that's when we introduced vernacularity in our app. We have 4 languages right now. Very soon we will have 12 languages support in the app.
Crazy. And why मेरा next question भी था, क्योंकि because language can be an issue.
Yes.
App because then you design for different like languages. Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
So yeah, we already have 4 languages. We support 4 languages. 12 languages are already coming, and obviously it has increased the trust level to a really good extent.
Amazing.
Plus,
so go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying on the language barrier only. Whenever you do performance ads or any advertisements and stuff, even there this language barrier comes in, right? Like if you are targeting South India, you need to have someone who that particular area is familiar with, and that's why we had Prakash Raj. If you are targeting North Indians, you need to have someone who is a face that is that the Northerners are familiar with, and that's Divyendu, Nana Patekar. So basis on that, we even chose the artists that the ads that we did, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, and Prakash Raj worked really well in terms of the user base that we had in the South, like really well. The trust obviously increased because that was a very known face in this part of India.
Crazy. And यही मेरा UI related one question है, because you guys design for like different languages. Like I have never worked on different language UIs. So how do you then do the typography? Because obviously it's
Yeah.
right?
So see, frankly, you don't get issues in all the languages except Malayalam and Tamil. So the thing is, if English में तुम्हारा एक word, let's say for example 20-24 पिक्सल में फिट हो गया एक वर्ड, वो एक वर्ड मलयालम में एटलीस्ट 70-80 पिक्सल तक जाएगा फॉर श्योर. So how we figured it out is every time the user changes his language from English or Hindi to Malayalam, all the landscape structures become portrait structures, and that's how it becomes scalable. So Malayalam is the only language right now which we are facing issue with. Rest all the languages fit really well with all the constraints that we have set. So
Biggest question.
majorly,
I have a biggest question first.
yeah,
How did you figure out which font to use, bro? Because so many language supports, it's really difficult to find a
yeah.
font.
So see, our primary font is Inter right now. Okay, and for Hindi, uh, for basically for other languages, we rely on Android system only. We don't use any specific font because right now, आज के date में there is no such font जो इंडिया के सारे languages support कर पाए, right? रोबोटो में भी सारा सपोर्ट है बट द थिंग विद रोबोटो इज इफ यू स्पेसिफिकली स्पेसिफाई दैट यू वांट टू यूज रोबोटो इन द कोड वो फट जाता है. That's why if you are targeting vernacularity, always rely on system fonts for vernacularity. I am telling you that's the most scalable thing that you can do to your app if it's vernacularity. English के लिए have a primary font, whatever you want, but languages, please rely on system font, the best way to do it. It works on iOS, it works on Android, it works on Windows, it works on Mac. Anywhere. System font, zindabad.
Crazy problem, yeah, because like these are amazing problems. First the user research part, and then like these fonts and everything. Crazy.
Right.
That's what I was telling my colleagues today itself that I'm doing a podcast with you, and I was telling कि like jar is solving. मतलब मुझे बस वो auto debit and like वो टू बी ऑनेस्ट मैं ऐसे ही बोलूँगा कि चिल्लर सेव करना है ये सब चीज़ें मतलब इट्स अ क्रेजी प्रॉब्लम टू सॉल्व एंड आई वाज जस्ट
Yeah.
टेलिंग कि मुझे प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत मस्त लगती है इनकी जो व्हाटएवर दे आर सॉल्विंग एंड अगेन नाउ नोइंग दैट यू आर सॉल्विंग फॉर T2 T3 and then these amazing problems it's like I'm more
Yeah.
fascinated about it and that's really great and so now let's go a little forward and let's ask you more about your journey around design so I know that you have explored dabbled around no code and like Webflow and other things.
Yeah.
What's your take on these? And second, how would you suggest designers to utilize these for their betterment?
Everybody says no code is the future. I will say the same. No code is the future. Uh, See, like my theory for this is that coding is a very logical thing. Designing is a very like creative thing where you don't need logic sometimes, right? As soon as you bring logic in your designs become problematic. Okay? So, coming to no code again, if you know logics, you will be able to be a good friend of the developer. That's why learning basics of code is very helpful if you want to be a good friend of the developer because there are a lot of things which Android and iOS doesn't support. There are a lot of things to understand. What is backend, what is front end, how API calls work, why the image was stored in the backend and then API call was made to bring it in the front end. You need to understand this. Only then you will be able to create scalable designs which is tech friendly also and developer friendly also. नहीं तो developer तुमको मन में बहुत गालियां देंगे तुमको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, right? So if you no code, see, because I knew code, just like I said, I learned Java and Python very early. Like when I just completed my 10th and after 12th also, I kept learning. As I know coding, I'm very comfortable in coding. But when I saw no code, when no code came in, I was like, all the basics that you have in coding, no code teaches you that by practical usage, right? So let's say, for example, if you see Webflow and Figma, the auto layout and constraint के जो dialog boxes हैं, it's exactly similar in both of them. Just Webflow में it's called something else, Figma में it's called something else. The alignment thing दोनों में same है. The constraint thing left and right, the margin, the padding thing दोनों में same है, almost same looks. And that's why the Figma and Webflow का plugin was created, जिससे Figma से तुम्हारे designs अपने आप Webflow में चले जाते हैं, because both of them have very similar things. And because I was learning basics of coding, I was learning HTML and CSS. When I started using Webflow, I realized that the right panel is a whole university of CSS. Like literally a whole university of CSS. You don't need to go anywhere else. Just open Webflow project and play with the right panel. You will learn CSS. It's that easy. So the no code basically has simplified learning coding to such an extent, and no code has simplified creating apps to such an extent that bro, I'm telling in जैसे कोई चीज होती है ना जो हर गली होती है, वैसे हर गली एक नो कोड डेवलपर होगा कुछ टाइम में, बिकॉज इट्स दैट इजी. And I would suggest designers, guys, just get up and start using no code. Please try to utilize AI also with no code. It's a crazy thing, crazy thing. I have been working in no code for the past 4 years now. I can tell you it has a huge thing to offer right now. Like even today, its potential is not 100% like fetched. There's still a lot to explore in no code as well. But I am a low code developer. Even if you are a no code developer, it's fine. By low code, I mean that using no code and at the same time also adding some configurations by writing real code. That's a low code developer. I am a low code developer, but even if you learn no code things, I'm telling you, your logic will blow, and you will be a great thinker in that manner, I would say.
Sounds amazing. And I think आजकल बहुत सारे लोग portfolios भी बना रहे हैं. And I think I just, it's just my intention कि being a designer you always have to be creative, right?
Yeah,
And people ask me कि क्या मैं पहला project करूँ, क्या पहला मतलब अपना portfolio बना लो, right? Right, that's the
yeah.
best thing you can. That's the best thing you can do. And
I don't have a portfolio yet.
अरे don't worry, मैंने भी अभी recently बनाया. It's not
I don't
something
have a
मैं
portfolio. I don't have a resume. सब
resume में
बनाना
तो
सब बनाना
so
है मुझे.
yeah. So one thing, one crazy story about me is कि so I did not have a single piece of case study till last year December. I never wrote a case study. I never. I started working, and then it's work that spoke for me. I never made anything
That's
like
how design works, man.
yeah.
Like people come and ask. Like this was a recent incident. A guy randomly came and asked me. Obviously, not a random guy. पहचान वाला ही था. We were chilling together. He randomly came and asked me कि पढ़ाई कितनी राजन पढ़ाई कितनी करी है तूने. मैंने बोला मैं ड्रॉप आउट हूँ. And then मैंने बोला then he asked कि कितने साल से काम कर रहा है. I said it's almost 6 years now. Then he said जिन कंपनियों में तूने काम किया उन्होंने तेरे से तेरा डिग्री का सर्टिफिकेट नहीं मांगा. I said no. I said no. I have always got my job from my previous work. And that's what design is. Design में तुमको कोई डिग्री नहीं मांग रहे. और तुम डिग्री लेके भी आ गए, तुमको एक असाइनमेंट करना ही पड़ेगा जॉब मिलने से पहले. और असाइनमेंट में अगर तुमने फाड़ा तो डिग्री का कोई भाव नहीं देगा तुम्हारे. इट्स दैट सिंपल.
Exactly, and even recently we same story. People were like कि मुझे design degree करनी चाहिए नहीं करनी चाहिए. मैं बोला यार it's up to you. So
या
every person will have different opinion. I can't say कि I will be in your shoes and I will say कि नहीं नहीं करनी चाहिए. Right? Sure, without doing also you can succeed. With doing also
यस.
you can succeed. Both have their own benefits, own cons. It all depends. Like some people would do from abroad because they want to settle. It's the easier path, and that's the best way for them, right? Nobody should
या
like again. Everybody would have their own situation, so there's no simple answer to anything. People has to figure that out.
या
Uh,
ऑब्वियसly.
and that's the best thing. So even with our edtech, because we are a edtech platform, for the longest time, people the same question. So Vaibhav usually used to do our session for the longest time, and people used to ask one question. Always FAQ last में Q&A होता था. एक क्वेश्चन आता था, सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा. वैभव used to be like आपको चाहिए हम दे देंगे, बट कुछ उसका हम नहीं करने वाले ना आप करने वाले हो. ठीक है, आप जो सीखोगे इससे उस पर ध्यान दो. सीधी सीधी बात है. And we do have a certificate section because Indian audience they need it, right? But we ourselves never promote it. We're like you need it. And पहले क्या होता था, पहले we used to be like कि हाँ मतलब हम जनरेट करके देते, अब तो हमने ऑटोमेट कर दिया कि लाओ आपका कोर्स खत्म हो गया, प्लेटफॉर्म पे जाओ, एक फिल करो और अपना ऑटोमेटिकली वहीं पे सर्टिफिकेट बन के ले लो. Like it's like
नाइस.
now, so like again, people need to know that skills matter, your certificates, your degrees doesn't matter. Our manager, the biggest example I give to people, our manager, King Siddharth, he has been working in the industry for 10 years. He's a dropout, never did a degree.
Hmm.
Can you imagine? He's like so renowned in our industries, PM and like design industry so much.
Yeah,
Amazing people like would would love to talk to him, would love to listen to him, and would love to work with him. So
yeah,
like there are people who have done so great without degree, and there are people who have done so good with degrees, right?
right.
So it all depends on their favor. So amazing. Yeah. The next question, I just want to jump a little dive into the last question I want to have, and then we'll do some fun rounds. The biggest question I have is so much experience that you have had so far with different industries, different fields, then solving amazing, crazy problems at JAR and other companies. What one piece of advice or one piece of learning would you say you have got from all the experiences that you have got so far?
Uh, I would say I always say this. My LinkedIn is full of this. Never treat your design as the best design or as the best solution you have ever solved, because there's never a right solution. You always have to experiment. And I use this quote of "Mera bacha sabse acha." Never do this with your design. If you start doing that, your learning will stop. As simple as that. And design is about learning new things every day. Like 6 साल की experience में I still have a lot to cover in design. Similarly 10 साल की experience में भी लोगों के पास बहुत कुछ होता है cover करने के लिए design में. तो design is not like ये बोला है, ये बोला पूरा देख लिया मेरा design खत्म. No, it's not like that. Design is a huge thing. And the day you start treating your design like मेरा बच्चा सबसे अच्छा, you will stop learning. So stay away from that attitude. Be open to critique, and this is what I would say.
Makes sense. And I think ये मैं example दूंगा. Recently, because of Vision OS, thousand things are happening in the industry. So I had the same intent कि like people be like कि, and again people become defensive of their designs. Like नहीं मैंने सही बनाया है, यही करा है, मैंने ही करा है.
Exactly.
Like you need to know that there are things that you don't know, and you need to know that, and you need to be
Yes.
open. You need to be open about it. Similarly, if I go to someone and say कि चल यार आजा VR का बना के दे मुझे, you don't know how to make it right now. It's a new
Yes.
technology. You are still learning. People are still learning. Even if I say to Mark Zuckerberg कि हाँ यार चल ये बनाते हैं, he will like हाँ ठीक है इतना पता है मुझे, but आगे कैसे यूजर कैसे यूज करेंगे क्योंकि अभी masses तक पहुंचा भी नहीं है. It's a too expensive tool to have. And when now
Exactly.
I have a very good example of this. I have recently, because Vision OS के बाद I started giving these to people. People are like मैं कहाँ से सीखूँ? Like I don't even know to कहाँ से सीखे, because like I don't know, to be honest. अभी resources have been, I can tell you like medium articles, but I don't know if they are even right now. ठीक है?
Yeah.
So I'm like कि तू बस ये सोच कि अगर वो $3,500 का डिवाइस अगर $3,500 का हो जाए, ठीक है, और सोच पे कितने लोगों के पास हो जाएगा, एंड देन यू थिंक कि हाउ दोज पीपल विल यूज दैट डिवाइस. ठीक है,
Yes.
यू विल नेवर like same problem like jar like T2 T3, how they will use it, people will never know till they use it, right?
Right.
जब तक वो masses पे पहुंचेगी, it's all assumption. You can like assume हाँ वो ये करेगा वो करेगा. So I was thinking
Exactly.
इसमें accessibility का I was thinking that the people have to do hand gestures, and the people who don't have hands or like have deformed hands, how will they use it? I
Right.
don't know.
Probably.
And again, same thing. Like it's an assumption. We don't know. अगर हमारे पास भी device नहीं है, अभी हम भी नहीं बोल सकते. So it's right.
Yeah. No,
So
like I was reading about it, and it was mentioned somewhere that precise eye movement tracking, this and that. So
but
probably
that's
there is something coming that
but
way
that
also.
yeah, but that's to track where they want to click, right? But
Yeah.
to click, they have to do this, and if they
Blink.
have deformed hand, could be right. Same. So again, these are creative ideas that people should think about
Yeah.
rather than be like, nah, look, मैं master हो गया VR में. Now I am a spatial interface designer. ठीक है?
Exactly.
Crazy,
Like
amazing.
I don't know if you experience the MI का VR. इंडिया में 1500 रुपए में VR बेच रहा था MI in 2018 or 2019. I remember. I got it for like pre-order पे चल रहा था. I got it, and after that they stopped the production of it. Uh, इट वाज अ वेरी जुगाड़ू सॉल्यूशन एंड आई लव द सॉल्यूशन, जो आज के टाइम पे नहीं मिलेगा। उसमें तुमको तुम्हारा फोन डालना पड़ता था।
आई रिमेम्बर नाउ, गूगल कार्डबोर्ड वैसा वैसे वो भी सेम होता था।
एग्जैक्ट, गूगल कार्डबोर्ड का एक अपग्रेडेड वर्जन था जिसका डेनिम का कवर था।
ओके।
उसमें दो ग्लासेस थे एंड देन एक फ्लैप था जो चेन खोलो तो खुलता था। उसमें तुम्हारा फोन रखो, फ्लैप बंद करो, चेन बंद करो, पुट इट ऑन योर आईज, experience the VR. Basically a screenless VR which used to give you clear VR experience and in a crazy fashion. I think create that first, scale it to audience, take user feedback, and then create expensive equipments. That's how it will work.
Makes sense.
But इनको लगता है $3,500 का लॉन्च कर देंगे। एप्पल लवर बैठे ही हैं, खरीद लेंगे।
खरीदने तो वाले ही है लोग, you will see. So
I am frankly one of them. I am buying it.
Same. So I hope till the video goes out, would have announced कि I'm going to Canada. But so the thing is कि हम लोग गए थे स्विगी के ऑफिस WWDC देखने, ठीक है? So there was a watch party and we went there. As soon as it was announced, we were making this fun and we were like कि हमारे ऑफिस में से like हमारी डिजाइन टीम में से 2 लोग, including me, there to be like one more person is going out for studies and we both were saying कि ठीक है, अब किसकी किडनी बेच के जाना है, बता जल्दी किसकी किडनी बेच के जाना है, वहाँ पे जाती खरीदना है ये चीज, बिकॉज सबसे पहले यूएस में लॉन्च हो रहा है एंड आई डोंट नो इंडिया में कब तक मिलेगा। So I was like कि मैं तो बस सेव करने जाती, नौकरी पे नौकरी, सेव करो खरीदना।
Right.
So it's that people will buy. There's no दो राहें नहीं है उसमें, people will buy.
Exactly. कनाडा जाना तो मेरे लिए ड्रोन भिजवा देना।
Done. पक्का। कस्टमर भिजवाऊंगा, कस्टमर से छुड़वाना आपका काम।
ठीक है।
चलो, let's go to your next round. It's a fun round. It's a rapid fire round. ठीक है?
Let's do it.
Yes, I will ask you some questions. I will give you some options. You answer it, and again, if you want to explain your answers, it's up to you. I will leave that up to you. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Ready? Let's start. So, would you, when you are making decisions, would you prefer data-driven decisions or empathy-driven decisions?
Empathy-driven decisions.
Okay. Next, when choosing between form and function, which do you lean towards?
I would not lean towards any, but if for answering you I need to lean, I would lean towards form.
Interesting. Okay, then there is, when you are designing for accessibility, what do you prioritize? Okay, first one is visual accessibility and second is interaction accessibility.
Visual accessibility.
Makes sense for the larger audience. Cool. When doing user research, would you prefer qualitative or quantitative?
Qualitative.
Interesting. The next one is the crazy one. So when you are designing for responsive, like when when it comes to responsive design, would you prefer mobile first approach or desktop first approach?
Mobile first.
Interesting one. Okay,
I can explain this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So why mobile first? Because everything is turning to mobile now. Desktop mostly the creators use desktop. The consumer में desktop use करना बहुत कम है आज की डेट में, ठीक है? I was recently working for a blogging website who has a great, like a huge audience base, essentially sports. You can check it out right now. They are number 2 in US right now. Number 1 is obviously Google News. Second is essentially sports, in sports category. They have a crazy user base and 99% of their user base is on mobile. Only 1% is desktop. And that's the thing with all the consumer base, I feel, because consumers are always always like this, never like this. So unless it's like a huge firm that is doing some CRM thing or something, majority of the consumers are on mobile for sure. So it's always mobile first. I would prefer always mobile first.
बस मैं इसमें एक एक्सेप्शन डाल दूंगा, एडटेक में नहीं होता, एडटेक इज डिफरेंट।
हाँ, ऑब्वियसली दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग। एडटेक अभी तुम पढ़ाई जब कर रहे हो तुम पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, तुमको नोट्स लेना है, अब मोबाइल इस हाथ में रख के इसमें नोट्स थोड़ी लोगे. लाइक
Exactly.
एक्सेप्शंस हैं ऑब्वियसली.
And especially because at growth school we don't teach like वैसा वाला पढ़ाई, we teach like system, like let's say जो हमारा UX का course है, you won't be like कि UX का course phone पे देख के, like you can't, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
or like you would want to see those nitty-gritties, and your screen can only
See,
give you.
see, just what I said. Creators use desktop. अगर तुम UX का कोर्स करवा रहे हो, you are turning that student into a creator.
Yeah. Exact same thing.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Makes sense. Next one. So when are you collaborating with the developers? What do you prefer? Detailed design specifications or design handoffs with interactive prototypes?
Detailed design specifications.
Amazing. And I think that also मैं इसमें plus point डालूंगा कि I think then it becomes a documentation for the people who would also, like, overall, when you have a big team, a lot of people are working on that, and if when you leave that project, someone else takes over, it's easier for them. Always better.
See, interactive prototypes work only when you want to show some animations or stuff. But if you want to show a flow, interactive prototypes are very irritating.
Agreed.
Very.
Agreed. And specifically when you have too much going on the flow.
Exactly. Like एक बटन पे क्लिक करके आगे गया, डेवलप कर लिया, वापस पीछे आना पड़ेगा. उससे अच्छा चुपचाप एक डॉक्यूमेंटेशन बनाओ, क्लियर कट, हैप्पी फ्लो, एरर स्टेट्स, हेल्पर स्टेट्स, सॉर्टेड. उनके लिए भी अच्छा, हमारे लिए भी अच्छा.
Exactly. Last one. Okay. When it comes to user testing, do you prefer remote or in person?
In person.
Always. It's a human touch.
Yes.
Amazing, yeah, amazing. So we're almost at the end of the podcast. This is one thing that I actually have two questions, but I'm gonna ask in one go. This is one thing that I ask everyone who comes to the podcast.
Okay.
As you have told that you have amazing experiences, amazing journey, worked on crazy problems and everything. First, what's next for Rajan now? What's next for you?
I am getting into content creation.
Would love to see
no,
that.
I'll not be teaching design. I'll just be me. Like I am basically, it's not. See, I am a teacher. I have seen people grow in front of me, like me guiding them. I have seen guiding that. But Instagram, Twitter, इन सब पे मुझे टीचर नहीं बनना. LinkedIn पे मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा टीचर बन जाऊंगा. But Instagram पे और Twitter पे मुझे नहीं बनना. There I'll be fun. I'll be doing what the real me does. I love dancing. I'll dance. I love riding. I'll ride. I love traveling. I'll travel. So that's what is coming up. So I am getting into content. I'll just basically I am creating my virtual diary right now.
Agreed. I have the same psychology. So people ask me ki, first when I was starting content creation, like my personal branding journey, people be used to like, yeah, aisa content tu dal raha hai, waisa content. Like, bro, it's not for you. If you want to see it, cool. It's for me. I am saving this as my monologue, right? I learned something. I'm sharing that because I feel I would want to see it after 10 years. And that's me. That's my monologue, my diary, my Instagram. I want to do that, right? Sure, some people would like it, some people would hate it. It doesn't matter to me. It's my monologue. And after 10 years, I will see it that I have documented everything.
नहीं, आफ्टर 10 years अगर तुम्हारे बच्चे उदास होंगे तो तुम बोल देना पापा का इंस्टाग्राम देख लो.
Like सबसे पीछे.
Exactly. That's what I want to do. Like
memories.
The day I sit with someone after 10 to 12 years, and that person is feeling low or something, I say, bro, open my Instagram account, go down, have fun. That's what I want to do.
It's all about those memories that you create. Yeah, it's never about कि कितने likes आए, कितने ये आए. It doesn't matter. What matters is you wanted to create something. You created something, and people view it cool. People don't view it cool.
Right. Exactly.
It's amazing, but definitely all the best for your journey, yaar. And I will definitely link your socials in the description for everyone to check out and pay you a lot to get the teacher version out of you and and ask you a ton of questions. So the last question, the last thing that I want to ask, what one piece of advice would you give to the budding designers who are coming in the industry right now?
Okay, I saw this question coming and I already had the answer in mind. But yeah, I have already created a LinkedIn post of this and I'll just narrate the same for you. If you're a budding designer, I would say do an internship at a company which has a great design team. Do a 1 2 month internship there. Learn the processes. Learn how good designers think. Learn how good designers present. Once you're done with that, take a 6 to 7 months of internship, this thing spree kind of thing. Do only internships in good design teams. Once you're done with that, join a startup, get into the hustle zone of your life. Join a early stage startup where you are the only designer or there are only one or two designers. Get into that make fast break fast psychology. Once you do that, you know how good designers think, you know how good designers present, you know how good designers design. Now you know how to work at your best. Now use both of these things and apply for a good job in a good company. That's how I would say this is a roadmap. Please save it or do whatever you want with this. But this is a roadmap. Follow it. I'm pretty sure you'll love this and you'll enjoy
Crazy,
it.
crazy. And I think I also agree, and I will second that whatever you said is right. I will definitely link the LinkedIn post. Do give me the link. That I will
Yeah, I'll
definitely
share.
link it out in the
It's
description.
it's like it's okay even if you don't link because it's the same thing that what I said. It's literally the same thing written in English. That's all.
But that's cool, yeah. That's cool. Amazing to have you on the podcast, sir. Amazing to have your journey out for the audience to listen and to
Yeah.
learn from. And as I said, people will reach out to you for acting tips and design tips.
Thanks.
Amazing, Rajan, for coming in. Thanks a lot for
Looking
taking
forward all the actors and designers.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, yeah, Rajan, for coming in. Thanks a lot for sharing your time and your journey with the people out there. And thanks a lot for everyone who has been watching till the end. That's the support we need. And
Thanks guys.
thanks a lot, Rajan. And thank you guys for this support. And see you guys in the next one.